Today on a live episode of Collider Movie Talk, we got ourselves a new Universal monster movie, this one directed by Paul Feig, and also we got ourselves a trailer for Like a Boss with Tiffany Haddish, Rose Byrne, and the beautiful and lovely Salma Hayek. We're going to talk about all of that and so much more on Collider Movie Talk. Chop that! That's right, I like when that logo chops it down. It lets you know, enough with the chatter, we got some talking to do. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, all right. Hey everyone, this is my last day hosting. I've been hosting for a few days straight here. Perry has been up in Toronto watching great movies and reviewing them, which you can watch on our Collider video YouTube page, and read some of the reviews of those movies that Adam Chitwood and Matt Goldberg went to go see, as well as part of the Collider team on the Collider.com website. So a lot of stuff going on there, but this is my last day. It's been a blast. It's been fun, and I thought I'd bring along two gentlemen who are going to make me laugh the whole time while we do it. That's Jay Washington out there. How are you, Jay?
You made it sound like you getting fired or you quitting. It's my last day. I'm out of here.
No, I'm just saying, my last day hosting.
Should I put $5 in the card?
I mean, right? You were like, man, like, look, it's my last day, y'all. It's been real.
It's been
Perry
real.
coming back and taking this. They just kicking me all the way out. I got to take my laptop and everything. I'm gone.
Let me tell you something. They don't fire you, then let you get on camera. That's a big mistake. Mr. Simon Thompson, how are you, sir?
I'm great, but who are the two guys that make you laugh that are turning up?
These two guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
That's right. One doesn't like to get tagged in photos. One tags himself way too many in
There was
workout
an
photos.
incident.
Let's
There was an
move on.
incident.
Earned this.
I
ladies and
changed my
gentlemen.
settings. It's done.
Well, let's jump into our first story, and that's coming out. It just broke a couple of hours ago. This is from the Collider.com story about it. Universal is setting a new film in this monster universe that they're kind of like bringing back to life. Not the Dark Universe, that is dead. This is more kind of playing into what Lee Winnell is directing down there, The Invisible Man. This is a new one now. It's going to be called Dark Army and directed by Paul Feig. It's going to star a lot of the old Universal classic monsters along with some new characters that Paul Feig is creating. That's as far as we've gotten in terms of plot synopsis and what have you. And all credit to them. Universal doesn't want to like blow it and do big pictures and show 7 people, and everything like that, because that kind of blew up in their face with Dark Universe. This is a little bit of a slower rollout. Simon, you've watched this stuff. You're a film reporter, film pundit. You've seen it all go down in flames, and you've enjoyed the original, I'm sure, the original classic Universal monster movie. So
Absolutely, big fan of those.
Are you excited by Paul Feig stepping into this situation? And does this feel a little like Abbott and Costello by throwing all the people in?
Do you know what? I genuinely am really excited about it, but I'm also, I do have my reservations.
Okay.
That's the big thing. My reservations, not Paul Feig. I think Paul Feig, we've seen with movies like Spy, that he can do really good action set pieces, and we know he can do comedy. And we've seen that he can do dark with A Simple Favor.
Right.
So I think we've got the 3 elements that we really need to make this work that Universal have failed to do with some of their movies when they tried to resurrect these Frankenstein sort of, monster movies. Dracula Untold, anybody? No.
Do we not? Do we have to talk about that?
Too soon.
Right.
The Mummy? That was just awkward.
Right.
Horribly. But I think Paul actually can have some really good ideas. I think what the big problem here is going to be is if these new monsters are good enough. That's going to be the real stumbling block, because we know the others have got heritage, they got the recognition. That, I think, is kind of difficult to really mess up. You can just go back to basics with those and develop them. It's the new ones, I think, where we're really potentially going to see some problems, because if they're not good enough, it's just not going to be a fair matchup.
Yeah, and Paul Feig, you mentioned Simple Favor. That thing made $90 million quietly on a $20 million budget.
Great movie.
Everybody loved that movie who saw that movie. It just kind of was underseen a little bit. Even though it did make $90 million, it certainly could have made more. And Paul Feig's an interesting choice, though, Jay. You look at this, he basically does comedies. So if we're doing...
It makes you think about that.
Yeah, because Lee Winnell does not do comedies. He's very much the right choice for this kind of Universal rollout for Invisible Man. Is Paul Feig this dark arm? Is he the right choice for this dark army?
But I think when we think about that, when we say certain directors are comedic in nature, we forget we've had comedic directors who've turned around and given us great horror films, action films, and things like that.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, for instance.
Yep.
David Sandberg, even when he did with Shazam, because everybody's like, it's going to have these horror elements to it, and it did a little bit, but it still was comedic and lighthearted. It was something completely different. It's what you said, introducing new characters.
Right.
And we have this day and age where the audiences are like, if I don't know it, you've got one shot to get me into it. And that one shot normally is the trailer. I hate to say that, but most people are like, oh, this trailer's terrible, I'm not going to see it.
Right.
Or they're like, my interest is piqued. But you have to see what these characters are, and we have to get a breakdown of backstory of them a little bit. Not so much as where it spoils everything in the film, but enough to be like, okay, I want to learn more about this.
And I think also when he's dipped his toe into kind of the world of spookiness, Ghostbusters, I mean, I know that movie's taken a lot of stick over the years, but I didn't think it was quite as bad as some people said it was. But I'm not going to go on that one again. So he's already dipped his toe in this, so he has one black mark against him.
Right.
So he's really going to have to work to get this right. I have faith in Paul. Like I say, Spy is a really good example where he uses the talent to their strengths.
Yep.
So I would say get people that you've worked with before that you know you have good chemistry with. Give them really interesting roles. Put Jason Statham in there.
Oh,
put Jason Statham in there. Do something different with him.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
No, I'm here for it.
Seriously, like, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but good.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would
Do
be
something
nice.
like Monster Squad.
Right.
We know that had great heritage. A pretty much unknown cast, but made a great movie that not a lot of people saw, but it's kind of grown in appreciation. Do that kind of thing, but with really solid talent.
Also, I think Universal has to keep their hands out of it so much.
Yeah.
Because that always becomes an issue. Again, the Dark Universe was their problem. Universal's hand in it.
Yeah.
Let's introduce everybody right now in
Right,
The Mummy.
right.
And that was Universal's hand in it, and look at what happened. It blew up in their faces. So you have to have them be able to say, we trust Feig. We got a little bit of influence we want to have, and that's it.
Yeah. I also think, look, you're going to find these strong directors. Leigh Whannell is not like some massively large director. He's a good, solid, strong director who's still on the up and up.
Yeah.
Paul Feig had some hits, Bridesmaids and what have you. This made his name, but he's kind of receded a little bit after the Ghostbusters situation. Building come back up. This is smart. Hungry directors kind of want to get back into the game and prove themselves. I think this is a cool decision overall. The Dark Army thing is interesting too, because the name itself, if you combine it with the humor of Paul Feig, you get a vibe of maybe Evil Dead. Is this a thing that they might be going towards? Because I don't understand. I thought they were going to roll out these characters one at a time. If you're going to put all the Universal monster characters into one movie, it has a vibe of Evil Dead. Does it have a danger of undercutting the more serious approach that would probably be what Leigh Whannell is taking with Invisible Man?
Here's my analogy. Everybody loves going to Chipotle.
Yeah.
But when you overfill that burrito...
We do?
Yeah,
Everybody does?
or
Jay.
imagine a calzone. You love a good calzone.
Okay, thank you
A good
for that.
calzone has to have room for those ingredients to mix, for the
Yes.
flavors to do it. You shove everything in the calzone... It's just a lot of stuff that's going in your mouth.
Right.
So you don't want to overstuff it. A big problem a lot of movies do is they overstuff the cast when it comes to superhero movies and things like that. Sometimes even dramas and sometimes comedies as well, where not enough people have enough to do, and it's kind of like you have spare parts, and it really takes away from that main thing. So I think, yes, they have to have this core. And I think if they're introducing these news, I would say no more than 6 to 8, because you know what they say, too many monsters spoil the broth.
Let me ask this question, and maybe I missed it
They
somewhere.
don't say that.
Yeah,
Are
that's good.
these movies, this and The Invisible Man and whatever they're going to do later, supposed to connect, or are these standalones?
I don't think they've announced that they're supposed to connect. I think because of what happened with Dark Universe.
Yeah.
I think what they want to do
they want to
is
see if they can.
and quietly reboot them. They don't want to make the big Tom Cruise, Angelina Jolie, Johnny Depp announcement. They want to quietly reboot these. That's why Blumhouse is involved in this.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Blumhouse will be involved in this particular in Dark Army, but certainly Blumhouse and Universe are working together on Invisible Man.
Yeah.
So I wonder how they'll connect.
Yeah, because that was the thing I was concerned about. Like you just said with Leigh Whannell, what he's doing with The Invisible Man. But then you hear Paul Feig, and you might get some comedic elements and get all of these monsters as well as a bunch of new ones. Again, a bunch. I don't know if it's 2, 3, 5. We don't know.
Yeah.
But you hear new monsters, and so my concern was: is this all going to come into one big thing down the line?
I would imagine it would down the road, and maybe these are the new characters that they introduce in Dark Army that will be the tie-ins all around to the situation. But again, I come back to this: completely different vibes with Paul Feig and Leigh Whannell.
But a lot of series have done that with directors and obviously with characters. If you look at Marvel's a great example of this.
Sure.
Where you've had a lot of movies that are very serious superhero movies, and then you've had the ones with more levity, like
Taika Waititi's Ragnarok.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Ragnarok, Ant-Man, Guardians.
Yeah, sure.
To a certain extent, Doctor Strange was a more serious movie, but had elements of levity in
Right.
it. So I think these universes, if they are doing it, can accommodate comedy and seriousness, but you really, with horror, you don't want to have too much of one and not enough of both. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise, if that was a cocktail, the mix would be off and it wouldn't taste quite right.
Yeah.
So they've got to make sure that they really get the right mixologist for this.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's jump into some chat questions here from the fans who are watching along
Sure.
with us live. Will Universal, this is from Salvation 13, will Universal make the same mistake of showing a Dark Universe-like opening for Paul Feig's monster movie?
See?
I don't think so.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're going to, no, we're not going to do this again.
Not yet.
What do you think about getting Bruce Campbell involved in Dark Army?
Please do. By all means,
I don't think so, because
he doesn't have to be a main part of it.
Okay,
that's the thing. Everybody hears
maybe
Bruce
a cameo.
Campbell. Yeah, just a cameo. You don't have to have Bruce Campbell like right there consistently at the forefront or one of these major roles. Have a nice little cameo. He's there. Boom. We're done.
Okay.
No, I mean, I would say no. I mean, let's explore some people who are out there that I think have profile that I think we haven't used for a while. I mean, I think we have a wealth of people who have heritage from this kind of thing, have only dipped their toe in it. Really good example, I was talking to Sean William Scott the other day.
Oh, yeah.
He's done a great movie, Bloodline, which is a Blumhouse movie, which comes out next week. And he loves horror, but the only two horrors he's done in 20 years are Final Destination and this, and he says he was horribly miscast in Final Destination. So, you know, look at people like that. Look at people like Devon Sauer, who are heritage in things like Idle Hands, who've done this kind of horror comedy thing before.
Right.
As much as I love Bruce Campbell, there's so much association with Evil Dead.
Yeah.
You don't want too much association. You want a little taint of that.
Yeah, I agree. This is another question from Kyle Johnson. What is you guys' favorites of the classic Universal monster films? Not characters, the film. Ooh, stumped him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of The Invisible Man.
Okay.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The Claude Rains one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, The Invisible Man, to be honest with you, Dracula and Frankenstein was so insanely popular.
Yeah.
I tend to be skewed to the ones that are a little bit different.
Yeah.
But also The Wolfman. I'm still a big fan.
That was mine. The Wolfman is always...
Wolfman is my choice. Yeah.
Because it was always something about seeing it, the way it looked back in the day, to see a man change into a werewolf.
Right.
That it was, even though it was a classic movie and with the technology and the graphics and the way everything was shot, it still shook you to your core and terrified you a little bit. So that's why I gravitate to that one. That's why I'm hoping if they do the Wolfman, it's done right.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind the Benicio one. It had some issues.
I like that a little bit.
Certainly, yeah, a little bit, right? And I agree with you, Jay. The original one is great because Lon Chaney Jr. gives a very emotional performance in that movie.
Yeah.
And the ending is so tragic. You're like, oh, man. Like, because he just came there and he just happened to be bit. And it's like he had to carry this curse through the whole movie. And he was just there to kind of replace his brother at this manor. He had enough family issues to deal with. Now he's a werewolf. So I just loved that aspect of it all and the tragic aspect of it all. All right. One last question before we move on to our next one. It's from Satyendra D. Andoni Banerjee. Yeah, that's right. I said it. What other directors do you want to see take on the classic monsters of Universal right now? I want Jordan Peele and Andy Muschietti.
I was going to say Jordan Peele.
Okay.
I want Jordan. I mean, we're seeing what he's doing with his own version of horror. You know, and now he's doing Candyman.
Right, Candyman.
Give him this. Like, he's doing Candyman, give him one of these.
Right.
And I know everybody's like, well, why not give it to somebody else? Yeah, okay, Jordan Peele. Then you have other directors. I forgot, it was just something on my tongue. I'll let you go with this one.
No, I was going to say, actually, I'm kind of struggling with who I'd want to see do this kind of thing off the top of my head. I mean, there are a few. Someone I'd actually quite like to see who's kind of dabbled in this in the TV space on YouTube is Doug Liman.
Oh, yeah. Doug Liman,
I think, would be really interesting. He's dabbled in quite successfully in sci-fi, and I would really like to see this. I mean, also, you know, Paul Anderson, I'd like, you know, he did such an amazing job in Event Horizon.
Yeah.
When he gets his hand on something that's truly terrifying, I'd really like to see him be given a chance to do this kind of thing again.
Give me Scott Derrickson, too.
Oh, yeah, from Doctor Strange.
Scott
I watched Sinister recently.
Yeah.
That movie is a pant pooper.
Yeah,
to this day, seriously.
Like, he can definitely handle this.
Oh my God.
It's a pant
It's a
pooper.
pant
pooper.
Ladies and
Pant
gentlemen,
pooper.
that's not a GIF or a soundbite. You all are missing out.
I thought he said a pad pooper.
GIF, I'm
like,
sorry,
what?
it's GIF, not GIF. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, whatever you want to say. I would throw Andrew Dominic in that as a weird outside the box choice because I love his assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, and I also enjoyed Killing Them Softly. So I think Dominic is an interesting director to maybe try a Invisible Man. Well, I guess we can do that, but like a Wolfman or something like that would be interesting. All right. Anyway, you got one more?
I was going to say, what about Danny Cannon?
Oh yeah. Why not?
Danny Cannon hasn't had a shot at doing a movie like of this kind of scale for a long time.
Yeah.
And he really understands the lore of these things, whether it's comics or heritage characters. I know he's had a few missteps, but Danny Cannon might be an interesting choice.
Okay.
Unlikely, but interesting.
Well, I like it. Well, there you go. There's a lot of directors to choose from. We'll see what happens as this film goes along. During the casting announcements, we'll keep a tab on it and to see what the
Edgar
overall.
Wright. Why I didn't think about that?
Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
but okay.
Yeah.
It kind of.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd rather have a smaller driven director than Eggers already kind of.
He's not that tall. He's about 5'7".
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to our next story. But before we do, and it's going to be the story about talking about this new trailer, Like a Boss, that just dropped from director Miguel Arteta. First we do, let's talk about some plugs. And hey, movie talk. It is starting at a new time this Monday, the 16th. Perry Nemiroff is here to tell you all about it.
Hey guys, it's Perry here to let you know that Movie Talk is moving. We've had a great time in this 3 p.m. Pacific slot, but guess what? We want you to start your day with Collider Movie Talk, so we're moving. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a longer show with some brand new segments, so tune in starting Monday, September 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific. See you there.
All right, there you go. That's Monday the 16th. It's upcoming. Set your alarms. 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things there in the morning. Trying to catch those stories by the tail early in the morning so we can talk about them there for your benefit. And also, hey, there's a Jedi Council coming out this afternoon in just a little bit. Ken and Christian there had me as a guest, and we talked about all kinds of Star Wars stuff, went back forth and busted each other's you-know-what, as we usually do when we're together doing a Star Wars show. So look out for that. Also, if I can, there's a new episode of The Deep Cut coming tomorrow. Janice Engel joins me. She's the director of the new documentary Life and Times of Molly Ivins, about Molly Ivins, that Texas Texas firecracker of a columnist who passed away from cancer, but really rattled both sides of the political spectrum. She gives Janice joins me, and we have a fun time in a fantastic interview. Look for that on the Collider Conversations feed, The Deep Cut. All right, anyway, our next story. It is a trailer from a film from Miguel Arteta. It's called Like a Boss. It's a comedy with Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish and the lovely Salma Hayek, who has not been seen much on film recently, stepping in as this kind of older CEO of a brand who's taking over this failing company from Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish, and all kinds of hilarity and hijinks and backstabbing stuff ensues, depending on your taste, I suppose. And it's from Paramount Pictures. As I said, Miguel Arteta directs this, who's also working on Succession, that HBO show. The writers on this, Sam Pittman and Adam Cole Kelly. So Rose and Tiffany play Mia and Mel, who are two best friends who start a beauty business together, but their personalities clash when times get tough. And then Salma Hayek, who plays an ultra-rich cosmetic icon, steps in to take over, and craziness happens. All right, let's go to Jay Washington first on this one, because Jay has a lot of strong feelings about this before we got on camera.
I hate everything about you.
I don't know how much of it he can reveal to us, but he certainly had a lot of strong feelings about this.
So here's my thing, and Simon and I were talking about this before.
Well, first, did you like the trailer?
Yeah, I like Billy Porter had me laughing.
Okay, fair enough.
Billy Porter has me laughing. Yeah. It's good to see Salma Hayek, and I'm guaranteeing we're going to see her in like 3 other movies before Eternals drops. I think that's what this is. She's in Eternals now. All this stuff in the drop that she's done,
that's fair,
we didn't know about. Mm-hmm. But the storyline, and I just feel like Tiffany's just being boxed into this one type of role. I love Tiff to death. Okay. But I feel like she's just being boxed in this one role. And yes, it's the girls trip role. Mm-hmm. That's what this is. It's the girls trip role you're dropping into every single film she's in. Right. And I know Tiffany can do more. And I want her to do more. And it's like, yeah, we see the little, like you said, the hijinks ensue. That's one of those things we keep expecting in movies like this. Mm-hmm. Hijinks will ensue. And I want more out of it. Like, again, everybody was so pumped about Night School with her and Kevin Hart. And Night School was terrible. You can watch it yourself. The Kitchen with Melissa McCarthy and Elizabeth Moss. It was not well received. Yep. So it's like, I understand she was trying to be more serious in that role.
And she's good in that role.
She could. So why can't we do more roles like that? Why do we have to keep doing Tiffany Haddish in the girls trip role?
I think that's a fair point you bring up, Jay, and you were saying, like, this is what she's being offered. And it might be what she's being offered, but I think Tiffany's at that point where she doesn't have to take everything. Remember, she did Lego Movie 2 as well, so she does not have to take these roles. I think you take small comedies like this to make some money and roll, get your quote, and then roll on to the next thing. Because you know, as a person of color who covers actors of color, there's not a lot of options sometimes.
There's not a lot of
options. So you do what you can, you grab what you can.
We do understand that, but also when you've hit this A-list status, which Tiffany Haddish is.
Yeah.
No matter what people want to say, Tiffany Haddish is A-list now.
Sure.
There should be a plethora of choices for you to say, hey, I want to do this project.
Right.
You know, people want to bring you in because you're a box office draw now.
Yeah. Yeah. Simon, thoughts?
Can I have movies that I'm concerned about for 500? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
I mean,
I put this.
you know what? I watched this trailer, and
Yeah.
it genuinely, for many of the points that Jay's made, it made me a little bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
Now, occasionally, trailers make a movie look not great, but they turn out to be great. A great example, another Paramount movie, Instant Family, last year.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which also had Rose Byrne in it. And I thought that was going to be terrible, and it was one of my favorite movies of last year.
Yeah.
It was such a great comedy. This, I am genuinely concerned about. It feels by the numbers. Again, I agree with all your points on Tiffany. I'm kind of like Rose Byrne. We've seen her kind of do this kind of thing before. I found Salma Hayek kind of hammy. I don't know. There's just...
Well, let me clue you into something, and that is Salma
the jokes
Hayek.
are going to have to be good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, of course, to make it successful.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Salma Hayek is playing a character that those of us who are Latino know very well. A person like that who is that way, approaching as a Latina, an older Latina playing the CEO type.
I'm fine with Salma Hayek and what she's
I think
doing.
she's playing that role in a certain way for the comedy
And I get that.
inherent in it,
And
like Jennifer Aniston did in the Horrible Bosses series.
Yes,
it's
and
a
it
certain
works.
character.
And it works, and you see what it is, and then you see that. I'm mad that we saw the twist so quick in the
Oh,
trailer.
right, yeah,
I'm mad
yeah.
that we saw the twist in
That's
the trailer.
fair, yeah.
You know, that's one of the things. I was like, okay, she's working with him, she's investing in him. I didn't want to know the twist that happens and now
Yeah.
everything else, but it's just you see this like Simon just said, it's a by the numbers comedy. It's an easy 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, but it's also a female-led comedy.
Yeah,
Which I'm happy
I
for.
know, but
Yeah.
there is this thing, I think, in the industry where there's a kind of almost sitting on your laurels. Like, it's kind of like, well, we have this audience that we recognize. We can give them anything, and they'll go and see it. And we've had this in various stages with various genres over the years. We had it with African-American comedies in the 90s. We had it with horror movies in the early 2000s. And you know what? These target audiences, they are wanting to put their money where... You know, they want to see this representation or something that they want. But if you don't deliver it, or you don't deliver it often enough, your target audience is not going to turn out.
Yeah.
Now, I realize that if this movie was made in the 90s, it would have been Tiffany Haddish and Salma Hayek teaming up, and it would have been the white boss screwing them over.
Right.
So the dynamic has been slightly played. But also... even the representation for Rose Byrne as the white contingent, I'm kind of like, it just feels by the numbers and hammy. It just feels predictable. It's a different setup, but it just seems strangely familiar.
Okay, all right. Miguel Arteta is a Puerto Rican director. You got Salma Hayek. You've certainly
Yeah.
got an interracial cast here, interracial
Yeah.
production, and I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
But when we don't know if the film's going to turn out to be good or not, it might surprise you. But certainly from the trailer, it feels easy.
And we've
I'm
been
easy
saying this,
jokes.
and we've been saying this all
Yeah.
day, how
Yeah.
trailers can be one way or another.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I don't want everybody jumping on and telling us, well, it's just a trailer. We all know some trailers are good, some trailers are bad,
Right.
and then the film turns out to be completely different.
Yeah.
And I'm very open to everything that's out there right now. However, there are movies. Overboard came out last
Yeah.
year, the remake, which I think was served up as something that was a representation for the Latinx community. And you know what? That product simply wasn't good enough, and they didn't turn out.
Yeah.
So don't just assume that your target audience is going to turn out because they're on screen.
Yeah.
Don't underserve your audience.
Well, explain to me the
Still has to
Medea
be good.
thing. Explain to me the Medea thing. People turn out for that Medea thing.
Because Medea has always had a following in plays, and when it translated in the screen, there is this thing called "We are going to support Tyler Perry, no matter if it's terrible or not."
Okay, I just wanted an
Alex
explanation.
Cross, when he tried to be an action
Oh
hero.
yeah, that did
And not
turn
all
out so well.
movies. They didn't turn out for all movies.
Yeah, I
so-
know. I'm just saying for the majority, because they damn sure to turn out for Boo, Medea Halloween 2.
All right. Well, anyway, this film comes out on January 10th. Who knows? We might be surprised by it, but I like that it's a female-led comedy. I like it's an interracial comedy. But you're right. If it goes easy, goes simple, doesn't really hit the jokes, as you said, Simon, or kind of insults the characters that they are playing, then we've got ourselves a not a step forward, but a step back.
I'm
So,
happy
we'll
to
see.
eat my hat and it be the best comedy of the year.
The line one of the last lines we hear out of Tiffany Haddish, I'm sorry if I die on you, white lady. Like, come on. I get it, but I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there it is, eloquently said by Jay Washington. All right. Let's
The frustration.
Of
I'm
course,
looking forward to
man.
Billy
Of
Porter,
course.
though. Looking forward to
I'm
Billy
looking
Porter.
forward to Billy Porter, because Billy Porter
Billy
is
Porter's
like
funny.
is like Titus from the other, I can't remember his last name.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yes. They're when they're on set, when they're on camera, they steal scenes.
Yeah.
They steal scenes. So Billy Porter is going to have you laughing.
I think Porter could be what Cat Williams wasn't.
Cat Williams potentially,
like in terms of consistently and staying out of trouble and doing his thing.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Because Cat was funny. Cat, his stand-ups are funny. Man gets in too much trouble.
I'm just still waiting for a Mannequin remake where Billy Porter is cast as Hollywood Montrose. High five.
Oh,
there you go.
High five.
With a cameo by Meshack Taylor
right here.
With a Meshack Taylor cameo.
High five, white man. Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry, I got this.
All right, let's get some chat questions as we wrap it up. Steve Calderon wants to know, and this is good. I didn't put this on the show, but I was hoping we get a question. So thank you, Steve, for sending in a question. Thoughts on J.J. Abrams leaving Paramount to sign a 5-year deal with Warner Media to produce both films and television with his company Bad Robot? Simon. The film reporter.
Yeah, not entirely surprised, to be honest with you, because he's moved himself into this position where he doesn't need to have a home. I think it's a very shrewd move. I think he can also form different alliances for different projects, especially in the changing landscape of TV for streaming. So I think if he was going to do this, I think now is the ideal team to do it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
With Warner Media, we're talking Warner Brothers, right? We're talking possibly DC. Yes? Is this a possibility?
Possibly. Why
Would
not?
they slide him into the Feige role and in charge of entire DC?
I don't know about that just yet.
Okay.
That I don't know about just yet. I would, because I don't think DC knows what it wants to do when it comes to that head. They keep switching around the pieces consistently. Yeah. So I wouldn't automatically say that J.J. Abrams becomes your Kevin Feige over there. But I could see them saying, we want you to do this DC property.
Okay.
We want you to do this blockbuster film, because think about it. They got Wonder Woman 84 coming out. You just had Shazam. You got Joker, which is DC, but not DC. You know, you got Birds of Prey, which we'll see. Yeah. But then you say you got J.J. Abrams directing a DC property, whether it's Gotham City Sirens, whether it's the Green Lantern Corps, whatever. Just to say J.J. Abrams behind that will bring up all the excitement for people like, oh my God, I want to see what he does.
Yeah. Well,
I think it'll give him the chance to explore some smaller proproperties as well, which I think he hasn't been able to before, but now he's got that safety net.
Yeah.
So I think really doing that, I think is a good move.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Anything JJ does, I like to follow along. He rarely lets me down. Into Darkness being one of those rare ones. All right, Anthony Marzone asks, Simon, in your opinion, do you think... Whoa, handing me something. Wendy's messing around with the chat here. Simon, in your opinion, do you think there's ever going to be a director like Alfred Hitchcock in the horror genre again, or do you think that he's a once-in-a-generation type of director?
Do you know what? I literally had a conversation about this with two people this week. John Murdy, who is the creative director at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Hollywood, and Rob Zombie, and they both said that they think that Jordan Peele is basically the new Hitchcock. So I think we have it. I think what I'm looking for is not just Jordan Peele. I think there are others that can come in and take that kind of mantle. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think if Paul Feig did something that was a horror, because he can play around with this, with these, dramatic lines and these mysterious lines, I think we could potentially see him move into that kind of role. Because let's not forget, I'm a big Hitchcock fan, but he also had some movies that didn't hit the mark.
Yes, right.
He had plenty of... Let's not pretend everything is The Birds and Psycho and North by Northwest. Yes. He made some movies that weren't great. So every director is fallible. Yeah. But I think, yes, there are more people out there. I just think perhaps we haven't seen them yet. But there are so many exciting voices out there right now. Yeah. But the amount of content out there means some people aren't seeing their movies. So, yeah, I think Jordan Peele is a great example.
Yes.
I think there are others out there that are going to come through. But there is ultimately only one Hitchcock.
Fair enough. Do you have any thoughts on that, or are you good?
I believe the same thing. Jordan Peele, because of what he's doing, he's already said he wants to do horror.
Yeah.
He wants to make his own genre of horror, his own vision of it. Alfred Hitchcock did that as well. And so now you have this, everybody looks for, some people may have not received Us as much as they did Get Out, but that's because the hype was so high. But now again, he's doing Candyman.
Yeah. True.
And everybody's like, let's see what happens with this, and then we'll find out the next one and the next one.
Absolutely. I already read Sotiandra. He's getting way too many questions here, so he doesn't get it. Here's one. Oh, yeah, here we go. Rix Amoris. He asks, Rocha, this is your last time hosting. Can you please tell us your favorite bread? Simon told us his, and it's calzone, or is it calzone? All right,
first of all, not a bread, actually.
That's a pizza.
That's a folded pizza.
It's my last time hosting this week because Perry's
Sorry, leaving.
Out. It doesn't mean I won't host again in the
told
future.
You the way you said
I know. I apologize.
I'm out.
Clearly,
I'm gone. See y'all.
Clearly, I got to be real specific about things. But my favorite bread is always going to be either raisin challah or a nice rye that's fresh out of the oven, that's stone-grown rye. Stone-ground rye is some of my favorite bread. Hot, right out of the oven. I don't even go to the top. I go right in the middle and take out the middle part and eat it. It's the best.
All right, there you go. I have nothing.
You don't have any favorite bread?
I mean, I did mine already a couple episodes ago. So.
Oh, you already did.
Yeah, we did ours before.
Rye, sourdough, big fans of those.
Yeah,
big
there you
fans.
go.
And obviously, holla.
Yeah.
Holla.
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 Oh boy, now we're
There you
dead.
go.
Now we're in bed. High five, white
Never
man.
felt more white. There you go.
All right, I want to have one. Okay, who's your? Oh yeah, here we go. Luis Rivera. Well, summer is over, so what's the best movie of summer of 2019 as we wrap up here?
Ooh.
For me, I know it's not the biggest movie of the year, but Rocket Man was one that I really left summer thinking about a number of times. That and Booksmart are two of my favorite movies of the year. Okay. Both came out around summer. I know they're not the biggest movies, but they're the ones that I think about the most.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Well, we've really put Jay into a conundrum here.
Yeah, because I'm not. Just for the record, I'm not saying Endgame.
You can't say Joker, right?
And why would I even say what?
Everyone's saying Joker. Come on, give me something. Come on.
You got me last on the spot.
Can I say Olive Ciabatta? I'm also a big fan of Olive Ciabatta.
Olive Ciabatta? Ciabatta bread is
Which also
good.
would be a great name for a drag queen.
Oh, okay. Well, there well, it happened.
It is true.
We had to get there, and it happened.
Right? I mean, we had to go down that. I just want to make everybody mad when I say this one. Dark Phoenix.
Oh, boo.
Even the director of Dark Phoenix doesn't say that.
Even Simon Kinberg is like, how dare you say that?
Who was the director of Dark
Simon
Phoenix?
Kinberg.
Oh, yeah, sure. Toy Story 4, Lion King, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay, Far From...
Midsummer.
Midsummer was terrifying.
Yeah. Yesterday, Men in Black International.
Nope.
Shaft.
Nope.
Okay.
You see, Toy Story 4 is in my top
Toy Story 4
3 of the year.
because it actually got you all in your feels.
Okay.
Toy Story 4 really got you in your emotions and had you really like, you didn't know what to expect from it.
Yeah.
And when you saw it, it was just like, oh man, Woody leaving. Buzz going, Bo Peep and came and broke up the family. Like,
If I'm not saying Endgame, which Jay put it out on the table, we're not saying it. I will say John Wick 3, and I will say as a tie with Yesterday. I loved Yesterday 2 pieces. Shout out to the people over at Yesterday. They sent me a 4K version of the DVD of the Blu-ray today. Thank you so much, and a guitar pick that says Yesterday on it. So it's very kind of you. Thank you. I loved that movie, and I think John Wick was fantastic.
yeah, John Wick was look. Halle Berry shooting every after she saw her dog get shot was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, big fan of John Wick 3 Panini. Big fan
There
of
it
that
is,
movie.
the Wiccanini.
Wiccanini.
All right, well, there we go. We got to end it there before we get killed. Too many dad jokes. Thank you, everybody, for watching this live episode of Collider Movie Talk. It's been so much fun over the last few days hosting this show and finally getting in the rhythm with everything and going back and forth with you all and hearing your great questions. And, of course, talking to these awesome guests. Thank you to Simon Thompson.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jay Washington.
Thank you.
And thank you to Adam Smith in the booth over there for helping me out. And Wendy today, which normally Dorian, but it was Wendy today. Thank you, Wendy Lee, for picking those great questions. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, Perry will. She'll be back hosting Movie Talk. We'll see you then live, 3 p.m. PT. Take care until then.